Plutus Property. So today we are looking around a property which we've actually owned for quite a while now. It's coming on for about 7, 8 months, 9 months, and it's something I've recorded a video on before. And we're currently in the process of renovating the property from a 3-bedroom house into a 3-bedroom house. So we're just renovating it as is. However, this was not our initial plan. Our initial plan was to convert this into a HMO, but the plans didn't go through at the planning process. I'll go into that in more detail in a minute. So let's have a little look around this property and we'll see how it looks now, what we've got left to do. But after that we'll go into the details of why it's always important to have a backup plan. So you're now joining me in what will be the kitchen. This area has now been finished with the plastering and has had a first layer of paint before the kitchen, which you would have seen in one of the rooms, is installed. This one just here. So once that's all in, that will sort of maintain the kitchen, and then the utility room on the side there will also renovate up to the same sort of standard, and we'll likely have some of the kitchen worktops in here. Again, we're going to maintain the toilet in the back room. A lot of work still to go on in there. The front room and the dining room, which we walked round before. So the kitchen there's going to be the dining room, and then this will be the lounge. So we're going to keep that as is, but we're renovating everything. So in this room, for example, this wall, the plaster was in trouble, so we've reboarded all of that. And you can see where the electric and plumbing runs, well, the electric runs in here have damaged the plaster. And again, that wall, the plaster was not good, so we've replaced that. Just got a replaster in here. So as you can see, we've done a lot of renovation work throughout the ground floor, still quite a bit to go. But effectively this is just a straight renovation, replaster, redone all the electrics and plumbing. So now you join me upstairs. This is going to be a bathroom. If I can find the pictures, I'll add in the pictures of what it looked like before, because there actually was 2 doors here. So see behind me, forward a bit. You've got the door there, which we've put in. There was initially 2 doors, so there was one here and one there. Slightly smaller door frames, but this effectively led on to a separate toilet and bathroom. So the initial bathroom sort of went in this way and then round, and there's a separate toilet there where the soil stat now is, was where the toilet was. So what we've done is knock down the wall in here to make this into a large bathroom, and we've also installed 9 spotlights on the ceiling to really light this up as a centerpiece for the property. Really large bathroom, should look fantastic when finished. So then we're moving on to the individual rooms. So this will be bedroom number 3, bedroom number 2, and bedroom number 1. So this has a fantastic large open space for the main bedroom, and we've also got all new windows throughout the property, which as you can see here look really good now that they've been changed. But the main purpose of this video, although having a look around the property is a good idea, the main purpose is to discuss what our initial plan was, what went wrong, and what we've had to do to change that, and the importance of having a backup plan, as things can go very different to how you expect, especially in property where everything takes so long and is a lot of money up front to purchase. It's always important to have a backup plan and a second option when you're buying the properties.
So let's take a little look at the initial design we submitted for planning. So this is the ground floor of the property, and as you can see, we've reconfigured this round to fit in more bedrooms for the HMO. So if you can see in the lounge here, we've added an ensuite room there and had to move the door across slightly, and in the dining room, which had the kitchen in the walk round, we've now put an ensuite in that corner as well. So we've had to split, as you've seen, there's two sets of windows in there, so it will go over one set of windows there. And we've reconfigured the back of the property here for this to be a utility room rather than a bathroom, as this design has 5 bathrooms already. This would be the kitchen and this would be the living area, but really the main thing is adding 2 additional bedrooms in down here. So let's take a look upstairs and see how we reconfigured that. So this is the upstairs of the property. As you can see, we've done quite a bit of reconfiguration up here to fit the correct number of bathrooms to fit the number of bedrooms. So in the walk around, you'll have seen the room which would now be the bathroom with the lights in, which had been painted white. This is this room here. As you can see, they'd left in the underlay of the previous design. As I mentioned in the video, we removed that wall to convert this into a large bathroom. However, in this design for the HMO application, we actually took that out to convert this into a bedroom. And what would be bedroom 3 on the walk round, this has actually been split in half into 2 ensuite bathrooms. The way we had to get the 3 ensuite rooms up here, this made the most sense, as it allowed us to put in the plumbing directly above the floor below into the dining room. As you might have remembered, where we put the bathroom there, it makes it a lot easier to run the plumbing up to these 2 in the centre of the property than if we designed it a different way. So that gives us bedroom 1, bedroom 2, both with the en-suites there, and then the master bedroom, we put an ensuite in that corner as well. So that would have given us 5 ensuite rooms into this property, which would have rented very well and very easily. But sadly, it did get rejected on planning terms. So why did it get rejected? So we submitted it under the guidelines that were existing and believed that it did meet all of the existing criteria, which was a couple of little points, but all in all, it did meet the existing criteria. However, the planning application is supposed to take 8 weeks. As it came up to the 8th week of that process, they delayed it slightly. Then, very much to our annoyance, they changed the HMO rules for the area and put a blanket rule in place, which is often found in city centres, but this is not in a city. It's very rarely implemented like this. So they effectively implied a new policy where there cannot be a concentration of more than 10% of HMOs in any area throughout the whole of the town. So for us, this made a big difference, as this was a heavily HMO'd area. I think it's 9 out of the 12 properties nearby were already HMOs, so something like an 80% concentration. So they rejected our application. So this put us a bit of a dilemma. But luckily we bought this property knowing that it would work as a HMO, but also as a flip. So I'll go into some of the numbers now so you can sort of see what our thought process was when we bought this in comparison to what would have happened if we bought it only thinking that we were going to get a HMO license on it. So let's go into the numbers of that now, and we'll see how important that can be. So let's take a little look at the numbers of this property and what our thoughts were before buying this on what the financials look like if we were to buy this property and get the HMO application confirmed. So as you can see here, the purchase price for this property was $130,000. We add in our financials so we can work that out in terms of mortgages, deposit required, additional fees, planning applications, architect, legals. It's all something you've got to bear in mind and think about before, but these are just rough estimates of what the cost is going to be. What we also then look at is the refurbishment. This is a general estimate for this. We would have expected to come in around £50,000, but for offering purposes, we do give it a estimate as opposed to an exact until we go through the details of it. The next most important thing here is the rental. So we had a look in this area and compared it to a lot of the other properties. We were going to do this to a very high standard, and we would have been able to achieve about £500 a month per room. So this would have given us a gross rent of £2,500 a month. What we also need to consider is the value of the property when it is finished. So as you can see here, we estimated the value would be around 200 to 225. So I put in the estimate of 215. So what this then gives us, and the way we work our financials, is a remortgage value and what the money we can pull out of £161,250. So what you then do with that is pay off the initial mortgage, pay off as much of these fees and the refurbishment as possible. So what I've basically got in this spreadsheet, calculation works that out, and it leaves us with £23,750, which we haven't been able to remortgage the investment back out of the property. So we've been able to get quite a lot back from our initial and all of our refurbishment costs, which is great. So as you can see, on a 4% mortgage, which is fair, about what you're going to get on a HMO at the minute, you can see how this breaks down on a monthly basis and what the cash flow looks like. And on HMOs, this is the key to a profitable investment, because property has to be a good cash flowing property, as you do get a lot more voids in HMOs. Obviously, there's 5 different tenants. Any of them can leave at any time after their initial contract. You do end up with a lot more void periods. But if it was fully tenanted, this is how the cash flow would break down. So £500 a month on your mortgage. Management, we work out at 10%, so £250 a month. That can be a bit more, up to 15%. Occasionally see higher than that, but for this example, 10%, which is £250 a month. And maintenance, we always put aside 20% on the maintenance in a HMO, because you're going to have to change a lot of the stuff more often, as there's more people living in it, more bathrooms to break, more people using the kitchen, that sort of thing. Which means our total costs are £1,287.50 a month estimate, and that would give us a profit monthly of £1,212.50. which gives you a ROI of 61.26%, which is fantastic. Which, if that was able to be done, that's why we're buying the property. And will give you basically, it's a fantastic investment. You ask anyone, 61% is amazing. So that would be what our return would look like after 6 months, and we were able to remortgage that money out just to leave that of our initial investment in there. So that is what we wanted. Sadly, it didn't go through. So where does that leave us now? So what we then have to look at is, what is the alternative? If this gets rejected and you don't get the HMO application, where does that leave you? Does that leave you with a property that's got alternative options, or does that leave you with a property which doesn't make any money and is unable to be rented at a significant profit? So I've got another spreadsheet we're going to look at next, which shows what it would look like if I rented it as a normal house. So let's take a little look at that now. So this is what it would look like if we were to rent this as a whole property. So due to the types of properties in the area, if you were renting it as a 3-bedroom house, the rental per month caps out at about £800, which might seem a little bit low in comparison to the room rentals, which it is. And there's a reason why. Is there's a large amount of 3-bedroom new build properties in the local area which are renting out for around between £800 and £950 a month. So that's why it caps out at that amount, which is very well. That's the reason why we're going for the room rental side of things, as percentage wise works out a lot better. So as you can see, we've still got the same purchase price. That's all the same, apart from there's obviously not the planning application there. Refurbishment budget's a little lower, £40,000, and the done-up value is pretty much the same. We're hoping for between 200 and 220, 225. But this leaves you with 13,000 in the property, as you're not refurbing as much. So currently I had a look at the standard rental mortgages, which is, I could pick one up at about 2.57%, which gives you a nice little return of £294 a month, which is 25% return on that £12,000. However, that is very highly dependent on low interest rates. So as you jump over here, the reason why this is here is we've now got a 6% interest rate, and look at the difference in that mortgage payment in comparison to that mortgage payment. This makes a massive difference, and this would leave you making a loss every month. So that's why it does not work as a standard rental, as if the interest rates rise, it will leave us with a property making a loss, which is something you really can't have, as that keeps your property business afloat. So as you can see, 14% loss on investment, which is never good. That leaves us with is, what was our alternative plan? So as you can see, we bought it for 130,000. Add in the fees, add in your refurbishment costs, puts you at £175,000. So with the done up value of £215,000, you can see how this makes a very good flip. So we've still got always the option of selling this on afterwards. It's in a good area for people looking to buy first time houses, and should sell very easily when it's finished. So that gives us a very good alternative option in which we make a profit of around £25,000, and if we can achieve more, fantastic, possibly 35,000. Depends what we sell it for. There is quite a variation in the area, so we can't be very precise on that, but you can see how important it is to have the backup plan of selling it. So for example, if we bought a property that was in a lot better condition, and say we bought it for £200,000, that leaves us with a property that we can't pull any money out of if we were to rent it. So we would have put a deposit down of 50,000, refurb cost, you'd still have near enough all of that money left in the property. You'd only make a 4.2% return at current interest rates, and would be making a large loss with all of your capital still in the property if you weren't able to uplift the value before. So, and you wouldn't have a flip option, as your refurbishment costs, oh yeah, they would come down. So that's probably about 10,000 if you bought a nice one. So it gives you 53,000 in there. You got £15,000 uplift. But if you're trying to sell it on with your fees, you'd make no money at all. So it doesn't give you a very good investment at all. So it's always good to have an uplift in the value, because it always gives you an escape route as long as you're picking the right area, and the property will still sell. So hopefully that's gone through some of the importance of having an alternative option. Always play what if. If you don't get a HMO license, what's the alternative option. So hopefully that's explained what we tried to do with this property and how we've been able to work with the fact that we didn't get our plan, and which initially looked like it would work and they'd say yes to it, but then they changed the rules. So shows you how it sort of breaks down and what to consider when looking at a new property. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, comment. If you've got any questions, if you want me to go through how we buy these in more detail, let us know down below. But that's all for today. Hope you've enjoyed.